All right, let's jump right in because today's explainer is tracking literally the absolute biggest superhero casting rumor of the entire year. The cinematic landscape over at Marvel is shifting under our feet, and we are going to break down exactly what the latest industry whispers are telling us about the future of Marvel's mutants.
So the big question, is Kylo Ren actually trading in his lightsaber for a magnetic helmet? This massive rumor has the internet completely buzzing right now about Adam Driver stepping into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For months, fans have been endlessly speculating about who's going to lead the highly anticipated X-Men reboot. And look, this isn't just another casting. This is arguably the single most pivotal decision for the next decade of the MCU, especially as mutants finally take center stage. Now, multiple industry reports are pointing toward the former Star Wars Supreme Leader taking on one of the most complex, tragic, and powerful roles in comic book history. The whole thing really kicked into high gear with a massive industry scoop from the account @MyTimeToShineH. The claim was bold and direct, pointing to Adam Driver taking on a major antagonistic role in director Jake Schreier's upcoming X-Men film. Now, while this account has a track record of gaining traction online and actually correctly calling several major Marvel moves, a vague villain role still left a lot of room for interpretation, right? I mean, could it be Mr. Sinister? Someone else entirely? The internet was pretty much left guessing.
But then, things got incredibly specific. Another insider, Apocalyptic Horseman, formerly of Nexus Point News, doubled down and explicitly named him as the master of magnetism himself, Eric Lenscher. This is exactly where the rumor transitions from a vague whisper to a highly specific, very believable casting choice that has just taken social media and entertainment news outlets by storm. Suddenly, the idea of Driver trading his lightsaber for that iconic magnetic helmet felt incredibly real.
And honestly, when you look at Driver's resume, it makes total sense why fans and critics alike are completely sold on this idea. Magneto is widely considered one of Marvel's most complex characters. You need an actor capable of balancing absolute, terrifying villainy with profound, heartbreaking sympathy. And Driver perfectly balances that massive blockbuster franchise experience from playing Kylo Ren with the emotionally layered, Oscar-nominated dramatic chops needed for a character shaped by immense trauma. We've seen that deep, affecting work from him in movies like Marriage Story and BlacKkKlansman.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Following in the legendary footsteps of Sir Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender, that is absolutely no easy feat. Both of those actors delivered iconic, defining performances that fans hold incredibly dear. But consider this. At 42 years old, Adam Driver brings a perfect blend of youthful, physical energy and deep emotional gravity to the screen. He's right in that sweet spot to portray a formidable, physically imposing leader of a mutant revolution who still carries the immense weight of his tragic past.
But here is the crucial point that makes this rumor carry so much weight. Marvel has already been heavily courting Driver for a major, foundational role. He was famously considered to lead the Fantastic Four as Reed Richards, a part that ultimately, as we know, went to Pedro Pascal. This detail proves that Kevin Feige and the brain trust at Marvel Studios have had Adam Driver on their radar for a while now. They clearly trust his talent to anchor a franchise, and they were likely just waiting for the absolute perfect character match to bring him into the fold. And Magneto might just be that match.
Okay, but you simply cannot have Magneto without his ideological counterweight. The two characters are completely intertwined in Marvel lore. If we have our rumored Eric Lenscher, we immediately have to ask, who is stepping into the shoes of Charles Xavier to actually lead the X-Men against him? Which brings us to another fascinating casting rumor. For decades, the Fox movies gave us a distinctly British lineage for Professor X, with the legendary Sir Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy bringing this aristocratic elegance to the role. But the current rumors suggest a major shift to a more comic-accurate American version of Professor X, shifting Xavier away from that British boarding school vibe to a slightly more grounded stateside academic dynamic could really differentiate this MCU iteration. And the name heavily in the mix right now to do exactly that, actor Patrick Wilson, who fans already love for his standout work in Aquaman and the Insidious franchise.
Beyond those veteran leaders, Marvel is reportedly assembling a completely fresh roster of teenage or early 20s mutants to fill out the classrooms of Xavier's school. The rumor mill is pointing to Sadie Sink, who you absolutely know from her incredible run on Stranger Things, stepping into the massive role of Jean Grey. And get this, there are whispers she might actually debut first in the upcoming Spider-Man Brand New Day. She'd be joined by rising stars like Nicholas Alexander Chavez, currently eyed for the stoic leader Cyclops, and Obsession star Inde Navarrete for the fan-favorite powerhouse Rogue. It paints a vivid picture of a young, raw team desperately needing guidance from older, established figures as they figure out their powers.
So what does all this mean for the universe we already know? Well, sources indicate this upcoming project is expected to be a complete ground-up reboot. While fans hold a lot of nostalgia and love for the old timeline, Marvel reportedly intends to leave the Fox universe behind entirely following the massive multiversal events of Avengers: Secret Wars. And here's exactly why this matters for you. Establishing a completely brand new mutant landscape, unburdened by past continuity, means you won't need to do 2 decades of homework watching all the old Fox films just to understand the new X-Men. It offers a clean, accessible entry point for everyone.
But before we get to this fresh new era of mutants, we really have to pull back to the macro view for a second. How exactly do we get from here to there? We need to look at the massive theatrical slate leading up to the arrival of the X-Men, because the runway Marvel is building is incredibly packed and, honestly, wildly ambitious.
Let's talk about this staggering number, 2 hours and 47 minutes. According to recent reports, that is the newly revealed massive runtime for the Russo brothers' upcoming epic, Avengers: Doomsday. This makes it one of the longest films in the entire history of the MCU, falling just a few minutes short of Avengers: Endgame. It promises a truly massive cinematic adventure packed with multiversal action, and ticket pre-sales are preparing to launch very soon.
And that epic runtime makes perfect sense when you look at the sheer unprecedented scale of Doomsday. Marvel recently unveiled official concept art showing an absolutely enormous character roster colliding. You have Robert Downey Jr. front and center in his shocking return as Dr. Doom, going up against the United Front, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and crucially, those legacy X-Men characters including Cyclops, Professor X, Magneto, Mystique, Beast, and Gambit. It is shaping up to be the ultimate multiversal clash.
When we map all of this out, the timeline of the MCU's future becomes incredibly clear. Avengers: Doomsday sets the multiversal stage later this year, on December 18th. Following that showdown, Avengers: Secret Wars will arrive to literally rewrite reality as we know it. And it's exactly that specific reality-altering event that clears the board and paves the way for the fully rebooted, entirely new MCU X-Men to hit theaters sometime around 2028.
But here's the best part. As fans, we might not actually have to wait until 2028 for some solid confirmation. Marvel Studios is stepping back onto the legendary Hall H stage at San Diego Comic-Con later this very month. Given the absolute fever pitch of these rumors, many industry insiders strongly believe this upcoming presentation will be the massive platform for the studio's very first official X-Men casting announcements.
So with Avengers: Doomsday pre-sales about to launch and San Diego Comic-Con fast approaching, we have to ask the ultimate question to wrap up today's explainer. Will this explosive Adam Driver rumor finally become a reality before our very eyes in Hall H? I mean, if Kevin Feige takes the stage and hands Driver that iconic helmet, it will instantly change the trajectory of the Marvel Cinematic Universe forever. The pieces are all in place, but the question is, are you ready for Adam Driver's mutant revolution? Keep your eyes on Comic-Con.